In this lesson, we're going to look at a very exciting way to use the Duik-Basil plugin, and that is to make your character run. So we're going to look at the rigging structures, and we're just going to look at how easily Duik-Basil allows you to move your characters a certain way. So for this project, we have 3 layers. Let me just show you guys. We have a background layer, we have the character, and we have a running reference. I'm going to bring that in. So this is our character. As always, everything is separated, and also the joints are curved. Remember that. They all need to be curved. And we have a background layer, which we're going to place our character on top. So the character is going to be running across this landscape. We also have a running reference because we need to copy the movements frame by frame in order for him to look like he's actually running. So really important that you have a reference, and this is just a Duik-Basil panel. Just go to Window, come down to this, and make sure you check it. We already saw how to install this, so if you haven't installed it yet, just go ahead and install it and then come back to this lesson, because we're only going to be working with this. Okay, so let's open up our character. We're going to start with the character first. We need to create the bone structure for the legs and then rig them so he can run. So that will be the legs first and then the upper body. Let's go ahead and pre-compose anything related to the lower body. Call this legs. Go in the legs, and we're just going to work with this now. Okay, let's go ahead and color code. First, let's duplicate it because there's only one leg. We need 2 legs. Duplicate it. Let's color code each one so we can tell which one's right, which one's left. And then bring them below. So the first one, bring it below. The second one will be on top. Let's call this R. And that one will just be left. The hip stays on top. The hip stays where it is. Okay, so we're going to essentially create a bone structure because right now it's just, imagine it's a bunch of flesh. We need some bones for this character to move its legs. So select all of the 3 layers, and we're going to go to the Duik-Basil panel, go to this guy, which is structures, come down to leg, and then there's this little circle. Click that. Make sure it's on this option because we're dealing with a human. And also that all of these guys are turned on. Then hit create. It's going to do a little magic. And now we have this thing, which is the upside down. We'll fix that. Just go ahead and bring all of these new layers. You can see there's structure ends. Bring them above the leg that you're working with. So the legs that we selected are the pink ones. Let's turn off the other sets of legs. So now we only have the hip turned on, which we need to turn it off. Now we only have one leg turned on and all of the other structure ones. So now let's have a look at what this structure is. We have one for thigh, calf, foot, toes, tiptoe, and heel. So we need to just connect these to their rightful place. Let's go for thigh. Click on it so you know where it is. Just bring thigh in the middle. So there's like this circle here. Just place that in the middle. Then we want to go for calf. Turn off the thigh first so we can see where the circle for the calf is. Place that in the center as well. Just keep in mind there's a circle here, put that in the center. Finally, we have the foot, which is all the way up there. Select foot and bring it down. Let's zoom in on the foot. So again, for the foot, just imagine a circle. Then we have the toes, which is in the right area. Just make sure it's not out of the shoe. We just want the shoe to be there. And then we have the heel, which will just bring it somewhere here. Okay, so now we have assigned the bones to their flesh. And now we want to just parent the illustrations to these bones, or else it's going to move separately. So the calf illustration goes to this one, foot goes to foot, thigh goes to thigh, and then we have this thigh, which you want to just connect to the hip. Up there, let me just change the color to something vibrant, yellow. So this S thigh needs to go to hip. I'm going to also change the color of this into something similar to purple, something similar to pink. So we have a similar color for anything related to the left leg. So now that I have all of these layers, I need something to control the legs with, or else it's just going to be like this. We can't really move it yet. You can see it's separated. What we can do is to select all of these new layers. Just look at the sign here. Go to the Duik Basil again, and we're going to go to Links and Constraints. Hit Auto Rig and IK. Okay, so now we have a controller layer. You can see it's on top. This is what allows us to move the leg however we want. So I'm going to make the controller layer pink as well, so we know that it's for the left leg. And if you go in the effects and controls, the effects controls for the controller layer, we have some options. The important thing is the icon, which right now, if we zoom in, it's red. If your character has red shoes, you want to make sure you change the color into something that stands out. You can also increase the size if it's hard for you to see, like it is for me. This is not on your illustration. This is just for you to control the movements of your character. Okay, and then we want to change a few things. Let's close icon. For the side, we want to keep this left. It's going towards the left. That's what our character is looking towards anyway, but if it's the other way, make it right. Now come to IK foot, and we want to hit uncheck reverse, because we want him to move this way, not the other way. Come down to stretch and turn off auto stretch. So turn off auto stretch, close that off, and now we have our character. Oh, and let's come down to thigh and connect it to hip, because it is connected. And now you can see we're just moving our character left and right. So the hip is used for you to bend. The foot controller, we undid that. The foot controller is meant for you to just move the foot. You could bend it, but naturally you would need to bend the hip in order to bend your body. So just use the foot to maybe bring it this way and this way. Use the hip to come up or down. And let me just show you another thing. If this happens to your leg, you just have to go back and move the calf anchor a bit higher. So you could just do that if you want. I'm going to leave mine like this. I may fix it for the next lesson. Just want to show you guys what we're doing, and then I'll fix it in the next lesson. Okay, so now let's do the same thing for the other leg. I'm going to turn off all of the controllers. Let's bring the controller down here. So up here, it's only for the right leg. I'm going to hide all of these layers for the left leg because we're finished with it. So just go on this icon. If you're not seeing these, you should hit toggle switches and modes and just hide all the layers essentially. All the layers except for the controller layer. And then once we turn this on, we have hidden all of those extra layers. They're still there, but we're just not seeing them in the timeline, which is easier on the eyes. Let's turn off the controller layer 2. Or actually, let's turn off the visibility for all of these layers because the foots are placed on top of each other. And now let's turn on the other side. Turn off hip. So the only visible items right now are the right leg. Okay, let's select all of these and go to Duik Basil again. Go to Structures, Leg, little circle, and create another structure. There we are. We have all of these. Let's change the color of these new layers into this dark green so they're the same. Bring hip above. Let's first select the foot and just bring it down. Get the thigh, move it up there. The thigh isn't much of a problem. The main problem would be let me turn off thigh, the calf. So just try to get an accurate area for the calf. We don't want it to bend like it did in the last for the other leg. So just try to make it look good. Can test it a few times before we continue. Let's get foot, put it down here. The heel goes to the heel. The foot, let's just put it here. Okay, so we have all of these layers now. Let's select them all. First parent them. So thigh right goes to this thigh. Foot goes to foot. Calf goes to that. Thigh goes to hip. Okay, select all of these controller layers, all of these structure layers, and let's make a controller for the movement. Okay, we have a controller layer. Let's also change the color to dark green. Bring hip above controller. Also turn on the thigh right. First, let's have a look at how the thing is. The knee is. So if it's still a problem, we can let's reconnect this to hip. If it's a problem, okay, so you can see here it's not that big of a problem, but because we didn't hit the reverse, it's looking like this. And also if we don't turn off auto stretch, it's going to look like this. So that is why it's really important to undo that. Go to the controller and then turn off reverse and also turn off auto stretch so it moves naturally. Okay, so the knee is a lot better here. And we can just keep that. You can see now the leg is just really natural. And just think how easy this is compared to just rotating for each of the frames, moving the position and all of that. Almost anyone who does animation using After Effects has this plugin. It's a great plugin for beginners too. All right, let's move on. I'm going to bring my layers back. Let's have a look here. Bring all the layers back except for the foot rolls. So bring these back, not the foot rolls. And now we have 2 legs. Let's hide the extra layers for the right leg too, all except for the controller layer. All right, and if we hit this, we should only have these 2 controllers. I'm going to call this, instead of foot, let's put foot L. Rename this. This is foot R. Okay, so we should only have these 2 controllers and the hip. And now if we go back in here, we have movements. Let me move the hip down like that. You can see that it gets updated here. We'll come back for the upper body in the next lessons. But for now, this is how you rig and connect the bones to each other using Duik Basil. It was really simple. In the next lesson, we're going to actually make the character move by looking at the reference image that we had. By looking at this, let's actually make a composition for this. Call it reference. Bring the image in reference. But we want to flip it the other way. Let's first get region of interest. Okay, crop comp. Because our character is going the other way, so we might as well make it easier So our character will start from here and it will continue each of these frames in order to run. Okay, so I'm going to fix the left leg because we did have the bending issue. For this leg, you can see the right foot is okay. I'm just going to redo the left leg and place the anchor point somewhere more suitable so we don't have that knee problem. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.